It's your boy MoonDog38732 from the MoonDog38732 show on YouTube. And as I was telling you all, I'm doing an interview. You know, I'm doing a series of interviews right now. But right now, I'm focusing on business, specifically black-owned businesses that are successful and or are doing what they need to do. And in front of me today, I have Mr. Julius Voss. How you doing, Mr. Voss?
I'm doing fine.
Who is Julius Voss?
Well, I'm in the plumbing business. We've been in the plumbing business since 1935. It all started with my granddaddy's half-brother. I don't have a picture of him, but his name was Buddy Robinson. And he started out on Lee Street in 1935 on the corner of Christmas and Lee doing plumbing. And my granddaddy used to come to town. They lived in Booker Den. This is my granddaddy right here. And this picture is from 1949 at Delta Wholesale Hardware. And my granddaddy used to come over here and work with him. And that's how he learned the trade. And so after my granddaddy went to the war and came back, he decided that he did not want to sharecrop for $2 a day. And he said that I want to do my own thing. And he got off into the business of plumbing. And plumbing has been in our blood and our family for all of these years. I'm the 5th generation plumber. Jesus has blessed me to take this business farther than we ever thought that it would be. He has blessed me to have 4 master licenses. I'm a master holder license as being a master plumber, a master gas fitter. I hold a master installer's license and a master's pumping license. And that is so to be able to pump waste, septic tanks, grease traps, all of those things. And I started 19 years ago with $200 and my old truck over there. We ain't got a picture of it. And the truck didn't have no air, no heat, or nothing. But I knew that if I worked hard and I saved my money, I knew what the results would be. And he gave me an opportunity. And also, I have a photo here to show you how hard times was back in those days. This is my granddaddy's sewer cable right here, the Reverend John Henry Voss. And look how hard it is when folks was living.
Oh, shit. As you can see, as you're a master plumber,
Rose,
it's always.
let me call you back. I'm doing an interview.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right.
I just cut that out.
Okay, all right.
You saying it was always hard and showing the solution.
And this is his truck that he started out with. 2 years later, he went and did something that was completely astronomical at that time, that it wasn't hardly any African Americans doing it, that especially here in the South, and doing it legitimately. He went to the Chevrolet dealership and bought him a brand new 1951 Chevrolet pickup truck. He even got his name painted on the sign of it. Even had a telephone number. It was extremely rare for an African American to even own a telephone in the house. Only a doctor or a lawyer or the undertaker made enough money to do that at that period of time. And this is where we are at in plumbing. And this is just some of the history that I have. And that is my picture of my granddaddy's truck there, his plumbing truck. And that's a picture of my car. My grandmother, Marie Voss, did not have to work. Plumbing took care of them and 7 kids. And it was definitely, I tell anyone, plumbing, people may think is nasty. People may think it's business that is, you're gonna have to get a little dirty. But all I can tell you, what you can make in a month doing plumbing is what it takes some people 6 months. In a year, it's people that got 2 and 3 college degrees and only making $30,000, $40,000, and $50,000 a year. Plumbing is a trade you can name your own price, and there will always be plenty of work to do. And I'm very glad that I am a plumber, a fifth-generation plumber. And Jesus saved my life. See this picture right here? This was in 2000 when I was going back up to. I had bought a brand new 4x4 F-150 red, candy apple red pickup truck. And we was going up to Chicago, and a friend of mine went to sleep under the wheel, and it totaled the truck out and dislocated my shoulder. But there was some good things that happened with that also. And that taught me about the value of having some insurance. Because if I hadn't had no insurance, I definitely would have had to pay this truck off myself.
All right, Mr. Voss, I want to ask you a question. Because right now it seems like you really, really love what you're doing. But when you were being taught this as a youngster, did you love it then?
Man, let me tell you something. I can't count the fights that we got into because the neighborhood people, they did the same thing to me and my brother and my cousin Lou as they did to my daddy and his brother. They called us all y'all stinkhouse boys, y'all doo-doo boys, y'all daddy put his hands in toilets. They made us feel bad about it. But look at me where we are now. Most of those fellas that were saying that, a bunch of them have to come and ask me for a job today. So always remember, yesterday's nerd sometimes turn out to be today's boss man.
And Bill Gates.
Well, we working up that way. We working up to be that way.
Next question, Mr. Voss.
Yes, sir.
Explain the benefits or the pros of being a businessman or a business owner.
Well, I tell you, it is nothing that is simple. You have to get some advice from someone that has been there. My father, the Reverend Julius Voss, helped to teach me and guide me, and he's still teaching me and guiding me today and helping me with questions, with things that I never would have known about business. Remember now, I have 3 strikes against me. I'm black, I'm a man, and I'm competing against other plumbers. So I'm gonna get the worst jobs. I'm gonna get the second or the third phone call. And I'm only gonna get one chance to do it, and I have to make it right. And you do not get a second chance to excel. You have to be perfect that first time. But also, with that being said, also, you have to reinvest back into your business. You can't take all your money in good time, and I have done that too. But you also have some stopping sense that says, hey, it's time to do something else because you're getting a little older, and you can't work it like the way you used to could do it 20, 30 years ago.
All right, next question, Mr. Voss. What is your definition of success?
That's a good question. Well, the first thing, Jesus has to play a role in your life. Jesus saved my life. 4.5 years ago, I went to the doctor just to get a checkup, and I didn't realize how sick I was. The doctor admitted me to the hospital, told me, Julius, you need to go to the emergency room right now. I'm like, Doc, what's wrong? He said, your heart rate is 122. I'm like, Doc, I worked today. I feel fine. I even drank a cold beer on the way to the checkup. He said, you could have a stroke right now. And just for a second, I was not going to go. But I convinced myself to go, and that is what helped. It saved my life, and it changed my life. And it made me a part of who I am today. And it also helped to shape and mold me to be able to be an inspiration for other young men. Because a lot of time, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of young men may not want to go to college. I didn't go to college, but I went to trade school. And a lot of them may not know how to go in there and work with their computer and work with this iPhone and all this here. But they know how to work with their hands, being a mechanic, a carpenter, a roofer, a concrete man, all type of trades that they can do and making their own money. And that is a skill within itself. And if you learn how to do that trade and manage your money, and one of the definite keys is being able to save your money. Because if you're making that money but ain't holding on to it, then you making tracks but you're not getting anywhere. And I tell you, it has been a long, long struggle. I'm still not where I want to be at, but Jesus has blessed me to become much more than what I was.
So what you're saying is, you set a certain level of goals, and on the way you have achieved certain goals. Are there still certain goals that you want to achieve?
Yes, there is. First thing, before I got sick, I was moving fast. I should have been married 3 or 4 times. I've been asked 3 or 4 times. And I can be honest about this. But in the process of moving fast, I did not allow that good woman and me and her to make a connection and become as one. I did not realize these things till I laid in that hospital bed for 30 days. And I could not feed myself. Somebody had to come and wipe my butt. Somebody had to come and put the cup up to my mouth. And I said, all of these material things I have everything, but I don't have nothing. And it really humbled me, and it broke me down and made me realize some of the mistakes that I have made in my life. And I said, Lord, if you send me a God-fearing woman, a wife, I'm going to let you pick her. That is what I want, and that is what I want to do. I'm even thinking about putting up a billboard like I saw this multi-millionaire did. $1 million if you will come and marry me, but I can't do $1 million. I probably could do $1,000. And I'm hoping that I might could attract the right type of business-minded lady.
Oh no, Mr. Voss, you got these stimulus checks. These stimulus checks coming out now. You might have to up it to 2,000 or 3,000. Then 1,400. Got something on sport.
Say I got to up the game, lady.
You gotta
Right.
up a little bit, Mr. Voss. Alright, now with that being said, now y'all know the MoonDog38732 show. We are serious most of the time, but
Yeah.
we do know how to have fun, man.
Yes, sir.
And break the monotony of not smiling. We
Yes,
like
sir.
to smile, we like to joke, but we're not gonna do it at anyone else's expense. We're
Right.
at our own expense.
Yes,
and
sir.
laugh at what we have done and lived through. If y'all seen my stories, y'all know every story I always do. I laugh through the story, and people ask me why I do that. At the time, it wasn't funny. But on reflection, when you're able to reflect back, you can't do nothing but laugh.
That's right.
I made it through it, right? We made it through a lot of stuff. Now, next question, Mr. Voss.
Yes, sir.
What motivates you?
The desire to succeed. When you have been told that you can't do something or you can't have it, it gives you that motivation to prove people wrong, to show them that I'm not that person that you may have thought I was. And at maybe a certain time in my life, I did not live up to other people's expectations. But I do know that the drive to succeed, to be successful, to have things, to want to do things and go places, I know what it takes to make an honest living. I have had 3 surgeries on my hands. I've had carpal tunnel on this hand right here, and I had a cyst on my bone, and I guess that come from years and years of pipe wrenches and holding your hand with a shovel, and that point and it was a painful lump here. And they did this one, and I waited 30 days, and then I went back down to Jackson, and he cut this hand. And I've had 2 heart attacks. I thank Jesus for blessing me to go through the things that I dealt with, because those are the things that has kept me to where I'm at. And it also makes me reflect back on when I didn't have anything. Because if you have ever done without and you see other people with things and doing things, it makes you want to have those things. I started out digging a ditch by hand. And I do know that Jesus Christ blessed me to buy this brand new Caterpillar excavator right here. I went to Greenwood to the Caterpillar dealership and bought it brand new about 1.5 years ago. Paid $60,000 for it. Also, this unit here is my Pipe Hunter sewer Jetta. This is what we use to blow out sewer lines with. When you have a situation where the stoppage may be 100 feet, 150, 200 feet away, this machine has 700 feet of 1-inch hose on it. I'm capable of blowing out up to 48-inch lines. I'm able to provide a service that only the biggest plumbers have this kind of equipment. And I thank Jesus for blessing him and giving me the guidance to save my money, because it took a lot of saving. I had to save up 7 years for this, $20, $30, $15 at a time. And it took me 6 years to save up for this machine here the same way, doing without, not buying a new shirt, not buying some new clothes, not going out to the club, not doing all of those things that take your money. And once I started saving my money, as I became older, I knew I couldn't do all that by hand, so I needed some equipment. And this machine here allows me to, when the cities and towns stop up, I have the capability to go there and bust that drain wide open. And believe it or not, a lot of the major towns do not have one of these machines. And I get calls from 100 miles north, south, east, and west to provide this service. And I thank Jesus for him blessing me to save my money to be able to purchase this machine. And Jesus also blessed me to build this shop here. I'm still working on it, and as you see, we still putting it all together. But all of this is a reflection of the new understanding that I have. And let Jesus Christ, he is guiding me. He is showing me the way that it can be done if you believe in him. And I am one of his faithful followers.
All right, Mr. Voss. Another question. Do you have any regrets when it comes to business?
The only regret that I have, I wish I could have went to that doctor's office when I was 25 and he told me that, because I would have at least $1 million in cash saved up. I probably would have a 15-room mansion. I probably would have a wife and 6 or 7 kids, and would hope 5 of them would be boys and 2 of them girls, so I could teach them how to plumb and how to make a living. I would like to pass this trade down to any young man that wants to learn this here. This trade can bring you up out of poverty. I started with $200, and that was it. No credit, no nothing. My truck was so raggedy, we had to use a propane heating torch, what you weld copper pipe with, to heat the truck up. The air conditioning, that was that little window that you fold in them old trucks. You know, you got that vent. They don't make them now, but them old trucks, it's still sitting out there in my yard. And I'm humbled by that.
I got stung by a wasp when they were trying to open up the hood one
That's
day.
right, so did. That was about 20 years ago, right when I came out of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Voss, another question.
Yes, sir.
How do you get the word out about Julius Voss Plumbing? How do you advertise?
Well, the first thing, I went with my new truck, I went put a new $6,000 full color wrap on it. A guy named Henry Doris from Laurel, Mississippi, used to own the Mahogany magazine. He did all of my signs, all of my printing. He even did these for me. These are my gloss print thank you notes that I send to every one of my customers, a handwritten note. And I put them a $10 gift certificate in there. That'll be $10 off their next job. And if they spend a certain amount of money with me, I'll even give them a $25 gift card at certain places, restaurants that I go to that I do business with and they do business with me. Also, here's another one of my flyers that I have. And this is to let you know about pumping your septic tank out. A lot of times people in the country don't have the slightest idea that your septic tank has to be pumped out. And that is what it takes. And I have this flyer here, and I leave this with all of my customers that have septic tanks to let them know these are the things that can happen if you do not have your tank pumped out. You do not want this bagging up into your house. You do not want to have these things happening to you because they can get very expensive. I also have a full color business card here. And Henry Doris, the same guy, he did that. And it's also on the back. Flip, there you go. It's like 4 cards in one. And they are thick with the gloss print. These were very expensive to make. But I know that when what you put into your business is what you are going to get out. And I know that I want to give my customers the impression that when they call Julius Voss Plumbing, they are going to get premier service. I have one more picture to show you. This is my truck that I used to have. And this was my super truck where I had all of these things, all of these tools here. These were just for display. I did not use these. They were not made for working. I had another set of these tools all in the truck. I bought these because I felt that when I opened my doors, I wanted everyone that rode by to see, hey, that man means business. And when you are a minority-owned business, you got to come up with a gimmick. You got to think outside the box because you're not going to get the same opportunities that some of my competition has done. But what I have done is learn to take an advantage. And I use the P.T. Barnum, one of the world's greatest promoters. And that is how I learned to promote my business. I make sure I keep you on my mind. I have flashing lights that go on my truck. I make sure that you see me at all times because what you see is professionalism, skill, and the true and honest way of doing business.
Mr. Voss, in closing, is there anything you want to add to anything?
I just want to thank my father for teaching me and training me. I wouldn't be where I'm at without the business things that he have told me. Because by being a minority business person, a lot of times you only going to get a chance to make one mistake. You're not going to have the bank behind you. You're not going to have rich kinfolks behind you that can loan you $50,000 or $100,000. You only probably going to get one chance. And a lot of times, by the time you figure it out, it's too late. You owe the government, the tax man, and what has put a lot of minority-owned businesses out of business is taxes. And that man at Mississippi State Tax Commission, they know that. And they gonna let you open up, and they gonna let you survive for 6 months to a year, and then they coming at you, and they gonna ask you for them receipts, and when you ain't got them, it's gone down the drain. And that is what has been one thing that has definitely hurt a lot of minority-owned businesses. But also, I want to say this, adding, we don't have a network that we can pull from, that we can talk to other African-American business people. It's only a few of us out here. And I hope that the few that's out here, we can pool our resources together, and we can bond together, and we can figure out how we can do things. And I would love to be able to communicate and fraternize with other business people like myself, so that maybe we could get off into the construction part of the business, the electrical part, the building part. There's all kind of opportunities and grants and contracts that are available. And I do want to say that. And I got to give credit also to Jesus Christ. And I also want to give credit here to MoonDog. This is my cousin. I like his show. I watch it every time it comes on the air. I don't know why when I always look at it, it looks like he's sitting in the passenger side with the steering wheel on there. But I know that's not happening, but that's the way it looked in the car. So he's doing a great job, and I am humbled that he thought about giving me a chance to shine.
All right, with that being said, he's already shining. He's being humble right now. But you know, at the MoonDog38732 show, you know we always say, right? Support our own first. Not only, but first, because sometimes we may not have it. But at least holler at your own folks first. Now, with that being said, this is the MoonDog38732 show on YouTube, and we're out. Thank you, Mr. Voss.
Thank you. Yes, sir.